Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on our news, murders up dramatically for the first 5 months of the year. Is the country on a fiscal cliff? $142,000 set aside to rebuild Potter's Key stalls. Plus, what it's like to be chased by a sea lion. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, while crimes across the Bahamas decreased by 8% in the first 5 months of the year, homicides and armed robberies shot up by more than 40% when compared to the same period last year. Minister of National Security revealing crime statistics in the House of Assembly today. He says crime numbers are trending in the right direction overall, but he remains concerned about those key areas.
So despite the fact that presently crime is down 8%, our concern certainly is in the area of homicides and armed robberies, where in homicides presently the numbers are up some 52%, and in armed robberies that they're up some 42%.
The National Security Minister did not provide a breakdown of the numbers. However, he notes there's still some time to bring the overall percentage down. Dames also providing statistics on COVID-19 infractions.
Since the COVID-19 Center was established, there were approximately 1,940 emergency order violations committed, resulting in 1,020,550 in fines.
Additionally, Dames says 62 people were arrested in reference to fraudulent COVID-19 test results.
52 of these persons were convicted and fines totaling $117,500. Mr. Speaker, the airport ambassadors remain focused and are vigilant in enforcing the enforcement orders.
Well, the Bahamas is perilously close to the fiscal cliff, according to Free National Movement Member of Parliament Dr. Dwayne Sands, who says the state of the country's finances is not the fault of a single administration, but the situation should not be sugar-coated. Jasmine Brown reports.
Dr. Sands did not hold back as he gave his unfiltered comments about the 2021-2022 fiscal budget, as he insisted the country's finances should not be sugar-coated.
I know what I'm going to say now will be deemed as alarmist, but we have now reached perilously close to the fiscal cliff, and that is not a political statement. Jamaica and Barbados have already fallen. Every year since 1974, successive Bahamian governments have spent more than they collected.
Dr. Sands delivered the candid comments during his contribution to the budget debate. He pointed to the growing debt over the last 40-plus years as a key indicator of the country's dire finances.
The national debt in 1974 was $108 million. It is now $9,665 million.
By June 2022, government debt is projected to swell to $10.3 billion, equating to 84.3% of GDP. Sands insisted that it is time to lock in fundamental reforms moving forward. As he suggested, there are several measures the Minister administration can take, including reforming the tax system.
Reassess the tax structure of the Bahamas to meet the annual funding needs of the government. If it requires income tax, let's do it voluntarily before somebody else makes us do it.
The Elizabeth MP also pushed for more belt-tightening measures, starting with state-owned enterprises and eliminating the bottomless pit approach to finance.
If I were to criticize this year's budget, I would say that it does not, in plain language, in incontrovertible ways, acknowledge that we are in deep trouble. We may have afforded champagne previously, but if we drink cider or beer, maybe we will emerge stronger and leaner.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
And former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands is calling the shortage of nurses in the country a matter of national security. Sands telling parliamentarians today it's having a detrimental impact on at least one ward at Princess Margaret Hospital.
In the private sector, in the intensive care units, we've lost up to 50% of our critical care nurses. I attended a going away party for one on Monday. At PMH, we cannot open up our intensive care unit to full capacity because we don't have enough nurses.
In late April, Bahamas Nurses Union President Amancha Williams revealed at least 25 nurses have left the public sector to take jobs abroad during the COVID-19 pandemic. Health Minister Renward Wells has acknowledged the shortage of nurses in the country and said the Minnis administration will do what it can to keep nurses happy. Calling it a win for democracy, activist Luby George threw his support behind Monday's shantytown ruling. However, an MP on Abaco says it was disappointing. Jillian Gray has that.
Activist Luby Georges says he was happy to read of Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson's ruling, which he feels shows the deepening of democracy.
We have the courts in place to protect against tyranny, to protect against, dictatorships, to protect against discrimination. And if you feel that you're being oppressed, if you feel that there's some discrimination, then you can apply to have a judicial review.
On Monday, Grant Thompson stopped the government's planned demolitions and said the 2018 court injunction now covers the entire island of Abaco. South and Central Abaco Member of Parliament James Albury said he is disappointed with the ruling. He fears it could have serious consequences and threaten the health and safety of many Bahamians.
We had several fires over the years, which greatly not only damaged structures and risked spreading to the rest of the community, but put lives in real danger, not only those who live there, but the wider community. So, this isn't just a matter of we don't like the people who are building these homes or needing to go into these homes. It's nothing to do with nationality, ethnicity, heritage, anything like that.
On Tuesday, Minister of Works Desmond Bannister called it a silly ruling that sets a dangerous precedent of open season for building illegal homes, adding they're going to appeal that ruling.
I commend the government if they feel that, they have an issue with the ruling, go about it the right way, which is to make the necessary applications.
Georges says Abaco residents are relieved, adding that though there were specific dates given for the demolitions, they often happened sporadically.
They have expressed the fact that they've been trying to find apartments and houses or, adequate living conditions to rent, but, they're just not readily available in Abaco.
However, Albury said he fears the ruling will send the wrong message.
I'm very concerned that it might lend an indication that the government is powerless to do anything about illegal building, and therefore persons will engage in constructing illegally on, properties that they have no title to, building homes that aren't up to code.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Mostly sunny skies today. Greg Thompson has the latest over in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christina, and welcome everybody on this beautiful Wednesday evening. Outside our studios, very warm temperatures once again as they are in the mid to upper 70s. 78 degrees outside our studios with just a few clouds. Your winds are out of the east at 8 knots, and your feels like temperature also in the mid to upper 70s. Satellite view, another beautiful day around the islands. Weather-wise, high pressure remains a dominant weather feature, that easterly flow bringing in some of that Atlantic moisture, so we could see some isolated showers, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm tonight. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, plans to rebuild Potter's Key stalls revealed. Plus, Arawak Key vendors say curfew is killing their profits. The details after this.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
The reconstruction of Potter's Key stalls destroyed by fire is awaiting Ministry of Works approval, according to Agriculture Minister Michael Pintard, who says funds have been set aside for the project. Bethany McDermott reports.
Government has set aside $142,000 worth of building supplies and labor for the reconstruction of Potter's Key stalls destroyed by fire back in April, according to Minister Responsible Michael Pintard, who said the money is on an account at a local construction supply store.
We've put together roughly $142,000 that will go towards building material and labor. We have also been meeting consistently with the technical teams at the Ministry of Public Works, BPL, and we are also having conversations with water and sewage with respect to the timeline as well as the sequence of construction activities that must take place.
Fire destroyed 6 stalls and damaged 2 others. Pintard said officials are awaiting approval from the Ministry of Public Works for construction to begin.
We don't anticipate that would be more than 8 weeks for the construction. This is not extremely complex construction. It's just that the infrastructure is important.
Pintard added that plans drawn up by the Ministry of Works are for the macro development of Potter's Key, which will begin with these stalls and eventually continue on to the others. He said a number of recommendations were made on the way forward.
The additional recommendation coming from Public Works is that they pour an additional slab in order to cover the electrical conduits, the water piping, as well as any other element that needs to be covered and protected that will service the stalls.
Now, following these upgrades, Pintard says there are no plans to increase rent for these vendors. In fact, he says they're looking for ways to alleviate the burden on them. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Well, some vendors on Arawak Key are blasting the curfew on New Providence, saying it's negatively impacting their business operations. Jared Higgs reports.
What I would appreciate if they allow us, give us a few more hours, that we can operate.
It's the plea of several owners of restaurants on the fish fry who say the continued curfew kills their profits.
My grill, I only open the grill now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can't afford to open it through the week because there's no generation, no people coming.
Neil Musgrove, aka the Sky Juice King, says before the curfew he would stay open until midnight on weekdays. That gave his customers a chance to knock off from work and maybe find their way onto the fish fry. But with restaurants ordered to be closed by 9, his weekday hustle is slow.
A few people are at work. Some people go to work at 11, 12. They get up 7 and 8. And through the week, at the 9 o'clock time, it's not going to be shut down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like we should at least be open at about 11, 12.
Further down, Willard McKenzie prepares to open for the day. He has been operating Andrew's Hideout for about 16 years. Profits have been cut as much as a third because even on the weekends, his busiest time is an hour before curfew. And while the increased presence of visitors is promising, they need more time to serve them.
Right now, we're facing some tough and some hard time. And thank God we have a little tourists moving through our island. And the tourists want to spend some money. But 9 o'clock, curfew closed. And by 10 o'clock, everybody got to be home.
Government implemented the curfew in March 2020, and Nasuvians have never been allowed outside after 10 without proper reason since then. On Grand Bahama, curfew is 11 p.m., while the curfew has been removed on most other islands.
You look at it for us, you want us to survive, you want us to live, move the curfew. Put it to 12 o'clock.
Another business owner on Junkanoo Beach says the curfew has been tough on him too. He got a $500 ticket for cleaning up his shop after 9.
My business was actually closed at 9, but because my wife and I were there cleaning up the place at 9:15, COVID gave us a ticket. And they let me know straight and plain that because my window was open, we have a small business, and because the window was open, the business is open. Even though it was closed, all the windows were closed except one, and it was dark, no customers, nobody, but we got a $500 ticket.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Up next, Dolphin Key makes a splash for World Oceans Day, plus another Bahamian minor league player goes deep. The details when Our News returns.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. World Oceans Day celebrations continuing at Atlantis, where our Kyle Joaquin met a few sea lions and dolphins today.
Making noise, you go, aww. With Atlantis celebrating World Oceans Day all month long, we thought, what better way to celebrate than with some of our favorite sea mammals? Over at Dolphin Key, I had an interesting meeting with a pretty big sea lion by the name of Sebastian.
He is a male California sea lion. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, Sibo. All right, he is an adult California male who is very handsome. He is one of the ambassadors of our family of sea lions here, right? Yeah, that's my boy. And then I had to get in the water with him. I legit want you to put your arm around him, and you're just gonna do a little, yeah, put your arm around him. There you go. Cool, just like that, pet him. He's super cool, man, don't worry. And every time he's happy and having a good time, he'll let us know by doing things like, yeah, that's my good boy. It was all good until it was time to leave. No, okay, no. So, that's the good thing about sea lions. All right. They can still follow you. Okay. And there's a number of these marine mammals over at Dolphin Key. And it wouldn't be Dolphin Key without the 35 dolphins that called this place home, swimming around and playing with guests daily.
She swallows her fish whole. She doesn't chew any of her food. She uses her teeth to catch and manipulate her food. And then up here is her blowhole. That's where she breathes them. That's also where she makes all those cool sounds from. A really cool fact about the tail and the dorsal fin are those are just like a fingerprint for a dolphin. No other dolphin anywhere in the world has a tail or dorsal fin that looks like Bahamas.
Atlantis has a month of activities bringing awareness to preserving life in the sea for World Oceans Month, especially through its Blue Project.
Everybody that participates in any of our marine experiences here at Atlantis, so not just at Dolphin Key, but some of the stuff that you did yesterday with the ruins, part of that money goes towards funding the Blue Project, and that enables us to do rescues and rehabs.
It's safe to say all the animals at Dolphin Key got a good laugh off of me today. High five. Oh. Yeah. Okay, bye. Good job, Kyle. For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Good one, Kyle. Well, Jazz comes up big in a Marlins win. Marcellus Hall has that and more tonight in sports.
Thanks again and welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall here on this Hump Day Wednesday. Jazz Chisholm and the Miami Marlins looking to get over a hump as they took on the Colorado Rockies last night. Jazz, after an 0-for-3 night the night before, looking to bounce back offensively in this one, and he certainly did that. Turns out he came up big and a win for the Marlins. Let's take a look. Jazz Chisholm and the Miami Marlins hosting the Colorado Rockies yesterday evening. Jazz in his customary spot at second base, leading off in the batting order. After flying out in his first at-bat, Jazz back at the plate in the third. He would come up with an infield single up the middle and would later come around to score on a bases-clearing triple by teammate Corey Dickerson. That gave Miami the early lead. Chisholm would add another hit in the bottom of the seventh. He finished 2 for 5 on the night with a couple of runs scored. Marlins, most importantly, get the win, 6-2. They're at it again tonight against Colorado once again. Another Bahamian baseball player in action yesterday, Warren Saunders. Boy, he had himself one heck of a ball game. 4 for 5 at the plate, almost perfect, with 2 RBIs and this monster home run you're checking out right now, deep into the night in left field. Saunders and the St. Lucie Mets get the win in this one, 12-6 over the Palm Beach Cardinals in minor league play. And that's your check on sports for you this Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you.
Thanks, Marcellus. The I Survived Dorian Project wants to hear from you. The details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. More sunny skies ahead. Greg has the details in the Weather Center.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks, Christina. In our second look at weather, we're looking at our satellite view around the region. That high-pressure system in the Atlantic controlling our weather. That's in firm control, extending across area and into the Gulf of Mexico. Will provide us with some beautiful conditions over the next couple of days. Some hot temperatures, but the winds expected to fall off, so boating and beaching conditions will be improving. We are still watching an area down in the Western Caribbean for some potential, but that's down to now a 10% chance. Boating conditions across the area tonight. Northwest and central Bahamas, your winds will be out of the east to southeast, 10 to 15 knot seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While in the southeast Bahamas, those winds are a little stronger. Easterly at 15 knots, seas will be running 3 to 5 feet. High tide will be at 8:20 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. Lovely weather expected over the next couple of days. Do enjoy it. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Well, small island states such as the Bahamas are particularly vulnerable to climate change, something the University of the Bahamas Climate Change Adaptation and Resilience Research Center is closely monitoring. The Carr Center director, Dr. Adele Thomas, says the center is conducting a survey to learn how people prepare for hurricane season.
Survey on disaster preparedness and disaster management. So we would like as many people as possible to take the survey. You can go to the University of the Bahamas' website or our Facebook page and find information about the survey. We want to understand what people are doing and what they are prepared to do for hurricanes and how we can overall improve disaster management for the country.
The I Survived Dorian project is currently accepting survey responses.
We're using it to inform, some policy recommendations for how to improve disaster management, and we want to get as many people as possible to take it.
Find out more about what the Carr Center does and its findings in the breakdown, Are We Ready for the Next Big One?, airing right here on RTV Monday, June 14th. Well, thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.